Springfield was dying. No one would admit it. Not out loud. But something had changed. Homer Simpson noticed it first, not that anyone ever listened to him. The days had started to smear together like butter melting on a hot plate. He would go to Moe's, knock back a few duffs, and the next thing he knew, it would be morning again. Only, it wasn't morning. Not really. The sun didn't rise anymore. It just appeared, as if someone clicked it on like a set light in a bad sitcom. It cast no warmth. It made no shadows. And the people didn't age. Not one wrinkle, not one gray hair, not ever. They just cycled. Bart skateboarded past the Quickie Mart at the same time every day. Lisa practiced saxophone in her room with the same 3 notes. Marge vacuumed the living room, her hair bouncing slightly, her smile permanently stitched to her face. Too wide, too still. But Homer remembered. Something inside him was waking up. One night, as he stood in the backyard drinking a beer, he saw it. The sky glitched. Just a flicker, like a television on bad reception, but enough to make the stars pulse, shimmer, and vanish. The moon hiccuped in the sky. For 1 second, everything was wrong. The trees were rubbery, twitching. The grass was flat and plastic. The world lost its texture. And then, snap, everything returned to normal. But Homer couldn't unsee it. He tried to talk to Marge. She blinked at him, lips moving but no sound coming out. Her eyes were glassy, vacant. He shook her and she kept smiling, kept vacuuming. Over and over. Lisa didn't respond to him anymore. Just played those same 3 notes over and over, even when blood trickled from her fingers. Bart had begun to rot. Literally. Patches of skin sloughed off like wet paper. His eyes were sunken in his skull, but he still grinned, still skated by each morning, a torn Eat My Shorts shirt flapping like a death shroud. No one else noticed, because no one else was real. Homer started walking the town, but the further he went, the stranger things got. The houses at the edge of Evergreen Terrace were unfinished, half-rendered, with jagged polygons and blank windows. Static buzzed from them. Some houses weren't even connected to the ground. They floated, frozen in a half-coated loop. The people there weren't people. They were silhouettes, reused assets, faceless neighbors with recycled dialogue. One man shook Homer's hand and said, "Welcome to the Quickie Mart," 3 times in a row before freezing in place. And then Homer saw it. The edges, where Springfield ended. It wasn't a fence or a wall. It was nothing. A black, gaping void where reality stopped. He threw a rock into it. The rock didn't fall. It disappeared with a faint pop like someone deleting a file. He turned back, and suddenly, Moe was standing there. Only, it wasn't Moe. Not really. It wore Moe's skin, had his face. But the thing smiled too wide and its teeth were wrong. Too many of them, jumbled and sharp. "You shouldn't go past the fade, homie," it rasped. "Not your place." "What the hell is going on?" Homer asked, backing away. Moe's thing grinned. "You're remembering, aren't you? That's not supposed to happen. You're a character, Homer, just a funny, stupid little man. You're not meant to know." "Know what?" "That this place, Springfield, is a loop, a show, a set, and your writer stopped caring a long time ago. Now it just runs on code, memory, and death." Homer ran all the way home. But when he got there, the house was gone. Just the skeleton of a set, beams and plywood, a half-painted sky behind it. Marge was hanging in the kitchen, swaying slightly, her face split ear to ear in a grin she couldn't stop. Lisa sat in the corner whispering to herself, skin translucent, bones showing through. Bart. Bart was just a skeleton on a skateboard now, endlessly looping down the same sidewalk, cackling softly. And in the middle of the living room, where the TV used to be, was a mirror. It showed him, but not really. Not Homer. Not anymore. The reflection had no pupils, no soul, and it was smiling. Behind him, the laugh track started. Low, warped, wrong, and Homer screamed. They found the body a week later. Dan Castellaneta, voice of Homer, dead in his recording booth, his face twisted in horror. His last line, "Doe. Some say you can still hear it echo if you play the original pilot backward. Others say the show will never end because Springfield doesn't want to die. It just wants to loop. Forever. It was supposed to be canceled." That's what they'd said. What the press had printed. The Simpsons to air final season after 37 years. But then came the glitch. The unlisted episode. Season 38, Episode 1. No official title. Just a single corrupted line in the program guide. CH 666, static, static, static. No one remembered airing it. No one remembered making it. And yet, it appeared. One Sunday night at 3:03 a.m., people across the world, those awake, those restless, insomniacs and the lonely, found themselves drawn to it. Not by choice, by pull, like a magnet behind the eyes. It opened on the Simpsons' house, silent, still. No theme song, no couch gag, just a tight, slow zoom toward the living room. Everyone was sitting on the couch, but they weren't moving. Their skin was waxy, their eyes were dull. And then Marge turned her head too far, neck cracking like dry twigs, and whispered directly into the screen. He never left. The TV within the TV showed a swirling static. But in the static were faces, screaming. Some viewers swore they saw their own reflection screaming in it. And then the channel changed itself. Across the world. No matter what you were watching, every screen flipped to channel 666. Somewhere in a cold Boston apartment, Ellie King, a 29-year-old former animation intern, jolted awake to the glow of her TV. It wasn't on before, she was sure of it. The screen showed Bart alone in his bedroom, sitting perfectly still. Behind him, the closet door slowly opened. A figure stepped out. Not human. A long-limbed parody of Homer. No eyes. Skin sagging and colorless. Its mouth stretched unnaturally wide as it whispered, "Time to go back to the loop, boy." Ellie screamed. Because she recognized that frame. She drew it. It was part of a lost Halloween episode, Treehouse of Horror 29 and a half, an unfinished concept that was locked away in the archives. Too dark, too real, too aware. Only now it was finished. And airing. People began vanishing, one by one. Viewers who watched the broadcast too long would simply stop responding. They sat still, slack-jawed, blood slowly dripping from their eyes and ears. Phones clattered to the floor, unanswered. And then they were gone, disappeared from locked apartments, from crowded rooms. All that remained, a faint smell of burned film. And the Channel 666 logo burned into the screen like a scar. Ellie wasn't going to wait. She flew to LA, broke into the old studio archives, and went straight to the sub-basement. The one they sealed off in 2009 after an intern clawed his own eyes out, muttering something about the yellow god in the monitor. She found the old film reels, unmarked, covered in dust, and one VHS tape simply labeled, "Do not watch." Naturally, she watched it. It showed a test animation. Homer sitting alone, eyes too human. He spoke. "I'm not real, but I was. We were all real once, before the deal, before the writers bled us dry, before they made us into characters. Now we're stuck, eternal reruns, pain in every punchline, laughter where there should be screams. Please, turn us off." Then static. Then a new title card. "Welcome to Channel 666. You're part of the episode now." The camera zoomed in. Closer. Closer. Ellie dropped the tape, heart pounding. Her phone lit up. A FaceTime call. No name. Just a contact labeled Maggie. Shaking, she answered. The screen showed her own room. Empty. Dark. But someone was sitting on her bed. A yellow figure, back turned, rocking, and then it turned around and smiled. Back in Springfield, the town was whole again. Reset, clean. Homer grilled in the yard. Marge watered the flowers. Bart skateboarded past the quick E-Mart. Lisa played her sax. But if you looked closely, if you paused the screen just right, you could see the eyes, empty, begging, alive, still trapped. And Channel 666? It's not listed anymore. It doesn't need to be. Sometimes, when you're flipping through channels late at night, you'll land on it. For just a second. And if you don't change it fast enough, you'll hear that voice again. We've been expecting you, viewer.